While driving, a professor secretly glances at his female student's thighs and accidentally runs a red light. When the student kindly points this out, the professor dismissively replies that rules aren't that important. The girl detects the suggestive undertone in his comment, fully aware that her graduate school admission depends entirely on the professor's decision. However, their journey is interrupted when a police officer pulls them over. The officer presents a ticket for the professor to sign, but the professor arrogantly claims there's no evidence and plays dumb. Prepared for this reaction, the officer immediately produces video footage of the violation. Seeing the evidence, the stunned professor tries to negotiate, asking if the offense could be downgraded to something minor like not wearing a seatbelt. In response, the officer simply adds this as an additional violation to the ticket. Humiliated in front of the student he's attracted to, the professor angrily signs the ticket, his mouth twitching with rage. As they drive away, little does the professor know that another officer is waiting at the next intersection. As the professor's car approaches, this officer uses a remote to change the traffic light to red, ready to photograph another violation. The professor, however, spots the officer and rolls down his window to vent his anger. To evade further police encounters, he turns onto a small road. Unexpectedly, they discover a strange village. Stopping by a river, they admire the beautiful scenery, which helps the girl relax. As they sit together talking, the atmosphere becomes increasingly intimate. When the professor attempts to kiss her, the girl suddenly panics, pushes him away, and frantically runs up a nearby hill. Feeling mocked, the professor shouts angrily toward the hill before deciding to listen to music in his car. Suddenly, a mysterious man carrying hunting prey descends from the hill. He stands beside the car, gives it a glance, and smiles eerily at the professor. His stick has visible bloodstains. The man takes a mouse from his pocket, feeds it some substance, releases it, and then crouches down to chase after it. Frightened by this bizarre behavior, the professor closes his car windows. The strange man approaches the front of the car, peers inside, then sits down to build a fire and roast potatoes while maintaining his watch. The professor hopes to escape with the student when she returns, but up on the hill, she witnesses two strange men with a bag containing a terrified high school boy. They put the boy back in the bag and transport him down the hill on a motorcycle. The girl covers her mouth in fear, trying to remain hidden. Just as the professor prepares to flee, these two men arrive beside his car. They circle the vehicle several times before parking their motorcycle in front. Recognizing them, the professor covers himself with clothing and pretends to be asleep. The men press their faces against the windshield, then grab stones from the ground and approach the windows. After their first attempt to break in fails, they search for larger rocks. This frightens the professor awake. He quickly starts the car to escape, but unfortunately becomes stuck in a sandpit. Meanwhile, the girl comes down from the hill, removes her shoes and socks to rest, and is approached by an older man on a motorcycle. She considers asking him for help, unaware that he's part of the same threatening group.